Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The A Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host. Hey, welcome back to the A Better Way to Farm podcast. I am your gracious host, Tyler. We've got a fantastic episode for you. Looking forward to having a discussion with a couple of great friends that I've got the pleasure to know over the last 10 years. They're both elder statesmen in the Better Way to Farm group. I know we get to introduce a lot of the youngins, but today I am the youngest one that is doing the talking. So without further ado, before I get punched in the face, I'd like to introduce my good friend Preston and my good friend Charles joining us today. Gentlemen, really, we could turn this into an hour-long show, especially with the three of us talking because of the experiences that we've had for the 10 years or the 17 years or the 30 years that we've been doing this. But ultimately, what I want to do is just kind of share kind of a condensed version of, was it a family member that brought you here? What was it that brought you to A Better Way to Farm? And how has that really not only changed maybe your farming operation or your life, but how ultimately we've been able to inspire and change other growers' lives by just being a part of A Better Way to Farm. So I don't know, Charles, I'm going to start with you. I know that I don't want to say born into this, right? But kind of led by family a little bit. So just kind of share a little bit about who you are and what you do and kind of how you got involved with the Better Way to Farm team.
Sure, yeah. Charles from southeastern Iowa, and my brother got started about 6 months before I did. And Rod, some of you have heard his podcast before. And I basically got started just to get him off my back. I really
Right?
did it as a favor to help him out, not realizing that it would help me out down the road.
Yeah.
I've heard it said that God will send you the answer before he sends you the problem. And I got to the point I was working about 110 hours a week, believe it or not, 2 full-time jobs, and you can only do that for so long. I had reached out to my brother, said I knew he'd sold insurance in the past.
Yep.
I said, I got to do something different. I can't keep running this hard. 2 bad jobs does not equal 1 good job. And of course, that was music to his ears. And I decided to join his team, and we've had a lot of fun. One of my best friends in the world, he started with this company about 30 years ago. And we just had this conversation a few days ago. I was visiting with his son. My friend's name is Tim. His son's name is Kirk. And Kirk and I were talking about how by him joining this team, it actually saved his farm because they had like 3 out of 5 drought years. Any of you who know about Gainesville, Texas knows the rains just split and go around Cook County for some reason sometimes. And that's one of the coolest things about this. You get involved because you want to do better yourself in life, but then you end up finding out that you can help other people. And the fact that we saved his family farm and paid off their house from him being able to help other people. And it's just pretty cool to be. He came from a town of about 1,000 people, and he built a business, an ag business, up over $1 million over the next 20 years. And it's cool to be just a small part.
And you met Tim through basically this A Better Way to Farm. You wouldn't have known him otherwise.
Actually, I met him at a livestock auction.
Oh, fantastic. I love that.
Not just any livestock auction.
An exotic animal auction.
Yes. Yeah. So the coolest thing is the longer that I'm here, and the three of us already know this, is that the longer you're here helping others around you, the more stories you find of those people. Like, holy smokes, I'm so thankful that I finally, made the phone call to A Better Way to Farm. I'm so thankful that I finally reached out to the Facebook page. It changed my operation. It absolutely changed my life. I know, Preston, you've had some of those stories as well. So why don't you share a little bit about, kind of how you got started into this whole game we call A Better Way to Farm?
Yep. So I was at the family farm, and we had the county average for yields. Nothing to write home about by any means, but it paid the bills.
Yep.
And that wasn't quite what I was after. I wanted more. And so I started reading some articles and read an article about Francis Childs.
Yep.
442 bushel corn. I thought,
not bad.
Maybe I can't do 442, but if I can implement some of this stuff.
Yeah, because he lives in another part of Iowa.
His dirt's not like our dirt.
Right.
Yeah.
In Southwest Iowa.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. So I found out that Francis was using starter fertilizer.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to this starter fertilizer stuff. So then I read an article about Kip Colors, and his first record with soybeans was 139, and went to 154, and then to 160.
Yep.
And I thought, well, maybe I can't do 160 bushels of soybeans, but maybe I can learn something.
Right.
Kip was also using starter fertilizer.
Yep.
And I thought, there is something to this starter fertilizer thing.
Yep.
So I went to a trade show, and I stopped at every booth that had starter fertilizer.
Which was about $1 million back then.
Yep. And I ran across a booth that had rod in it.
Before A Better Way to Farm.
This was before A Better Way to Farm. So yeah, this was a few years ago. Yep. So then I quickly became a customer.
Yep.
And then I found out that they needed some representation. And so I quickly joined the team, and it has been a blur. It is awesome. I don't care what you do in this world, but you got to enjoy what you do and who you do it with.
Yeah.
And we have 100% of that here.
Yeah. One of the things that you say constantly that I love is that, we work hard, but we play hard as well. And that couldn't be, more true of a statement. If you put in the time and you put in the effort to what we do, you can have a massive business. But the coolest thing is, again, Chuck, just like your buddy Tim, it's the relationships that we build in this whole process. So how have you guys, I don't know who wants to go first. I don't know, Chuck, you want to talk now because Preston just got done, but how do you go about, when someone reaches out or, you get that person calling, hey, I want to be a part of this thing. Tell me a little bit more. Where do you guys go from there? How do you help that grower out, or how do you help that person that's calling?
Well, I want to get to know them. I want to get to know about their farming operation, but also want to get to know them as a person. And sooner or later, I want to end up walking on their farm, so I see exactly what they're dealing with. Yeah. I'm not going to be in their driveway every week. Like when Rod and I were growing up, the feed man came over and everybody stared in the back of the pickup truck for a half hour, an hour. Nobody has time for that anymore.
Right.
But it's nice to walk on their farm and see what they're dealing with and getting to know about everything we can about their operation so we can help them as much as we can.
Yeah. Preston, what about yourself? How do you kind of take that? Because now you've not only watched Rod do this, but now you are bringing in your children up through the A Better Way to Farm business side of things. So how do you help those that are reaching out and saying, hey, I'm just interested. I know you worked with Mason. I just want to try. I just want to take a look. I just want a little bit.
So that is something very unique that we do at A Better Way to Farm is that we help them do what they want to do.
Right.
If they just want to use a little bit, then that's what we're going to help them do. If they want to do a lot, we're going to help them do a lot.
Absolutely.
You will become a product of your 5 closest people you hang out with. And so that is something that we do phenomenally here, because when you enjoy working with the people that you work with, you can do great things. Mm-hmm. And to be around a positive environment, we don't just focus on agronomy. Right. Here at A Better Way to Farm, we also focus on people. And we try to, Rod gave us a goal at a training in Omaha, and he says, I want A Better Way to Farm to be known for having the best customer service.
Yeah.
And so we all have to become better people in order to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, since you brought that up, I completely agree. But the other thing that I know that we do at A Better Way to Farm, because we've caught some heat. I know it's surprising, but I think they're called haters, keyboard warriors that sit out there on social media and they'll sit there and say this or say that. But, one of the challenges that I would throw out to anybody is that this team, I probably, coming from my background as, the quote unquote co-op agronomist, I probably have more contacts with trusted agronomists just in our group than I ever had on the outside of A Better Way to Farm, working the co-op jobs that I had, because, when we bring in an individual, they may be farmer or maybe, like me, they're coming in from the industry. We teach them how to do it the right way. Literally, why it's called A Better Way to Farm, right? So that's what I love about what we are able to do. And I don't know, is there any particular stories as we kind of wrap this up?
We could go on for hours.
That's what I'm saying. But I would like you guys to share maybe one story really that kind of hits home.
So for me, a lot of the people that have come on to the team, like Mason and like Sam and like the other Sam that we talk about often, those people came to us and both of the Sams were in a very destitute place. They didn't think that they were going to be able to farm another year or two. And both of them have grown their operations significantly since then. And both of them, when they came to us, did not have children, ironically.
Right.
Sam told me, the one from out east told me that very specifically that he didn't think that there was going to be a farming operation for his next generation.
Right.
And now he sees that that light is there and that there will be an operation left to pass on to the next generation. And so that to me, we talk about these huge businesses that we build, which is phenomenal, but being able to make that impact. And so then people say, well, how can I do that? Well, if you stick around long enough, you'll find out.
Right.
I recall once upon a time, you called me and you're like, hey, I used this one product today. You know what? It was really awesome. And I laughed because all of the products are really awesome. So you just got to use them and create your own product experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
A gentleman named Anthony was reaching out to me for a couple of years, and his biggest problem was yellow flash. His agronomist, his seed dealer, his chemical dealer, his fertilizer dealer, none of them could tell him what it was. Either they knew and they just wanted to tell him, or they absolutely just did not know. And we were the ones who showed him how to fix that problem. Manganese deficiency from overuse of glyphosate. And he went from struggling, losing farms to neighboring farmers, to turning their farming operation around, beating the county average by over 40 bushels per acre, and going from barely getting by to having a solid, flourishing farm. And it's cool to get to be a small part of that, just from simple agronomy.
It is literally life-changing, the things that we get to do just because someone reaches out. So, gentlemen, Charles, Preston, thank you guys very much for the time today and sharing those stories. It means the world to me, and I was glad that we were able to do this. But as you're listening to this, I'm asking you to reach out to us. Take that time. If you got to reach out through the podcast, reach out through the podcast. You go to abetterwaytofarm.com, go follow us on Facebook or even on TikTok and get a hold of it. And by the way, I've got to give a shameless plug. If you want to meet us in person, we've got some events coming up. We've got some field days. We've got our 2-day Fundamentals of Agronomy, our training program. We give you the keys to be your own successful manager on your farming operation. Reach out to us and we'll see you at the next meeting. And as always, we say this every time, we hope that you have a better day.